Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode number 32 of Inside Infinity. Today's date is February 24th, 2014. I am Will Kelly, one of your many hosts for this fine podcast. And with me tonight, as always, my partner in crime, Jason Haynes. How are you doing tonight, buddy? Wait, don't say nothing. Now, how are you?
G'day, mates. G'day, listeners. I'm good. I'm very good.
I love that. It's so rehearsed. It's like you say the same thing every week, and it's just like soothing. It means the show is starting. I dig it.
Good. Because what am I supposed to say? I'm Australian. G'day.
Oh, awesome. Cool. And next up after Jason, the host of VGPodcast.com, Lloyd Hansen. How are you tonight, Lloyd?
I'm doing great, Will. Thanks for having me on the show today. I have a couple things to get into before we get into the rest of the show, if you would allow me to do that.
Please do so.
Okay, first I have a message for Steve C, because he said a lot of things about me in the last episode. Steve C, I love you. You're my favorite guy in the world. I will not say anything bad about you anymore. I didn't know that I affected you so deeply, that I cut you so deep to the bone. I won't do that anymore, Steve C. I love you. I want to give you a big hug. When we see each other, I will hug you. That's how much I care about your thoughts, dreams, and passion, Steve C.
Oh, we made it. We made it a minute and 33 seconds. And Lloyd, you brought out the niceness this time. It wasn't the time.
There's no more of the other stuff. I don't even know what that stuff was. There's no more of that. It's all love and togetherness and one with each other. And that's what I have to say. And then the second thing, Will, at the 40-minute mark of the last podcast, I believe you did start to say some bad things about me. It's at the 40. I have it written down here. 40 minutes and 21 seconds, I believe it was. So
what did I say?
Well, do you really want to get into that on the air, or should we leave that for the after show? Maybe we'll do the after show thing.
Okay, please. I appreciate that respect, since apparently I didn't have enough for you.
That's right. Seriously, though, thanks for having me back. Love doing the show. I love coming on here and spending some time with you guys. It's a lot of fun.
Well, we can't wait, and here in just a little bit, you're gonna help us with some of your Skylanders knowledge when we talk about our Disney Infinity 2 section this week. So we can't wait to hear that. So I'd like to say hello to everyone in the chat room. The discussion is already making fun of my lack of beard this week. That was such a topic of conversation this week. So we had planned on only having 3 of us on tonight, Jason and Lloyd and myself, and then another friend of ours messaged me and said, I have something special that I'd really like to talk with the folks online and in the chat room. So Pirate Steve, how are you doing tonight, buddy? If I can get your...
Ahoy! Thanks for having me on the show today. I was so deeply inspired by your dedication to man up the show a little bit more by growing in your facial hair, like that. It was a little peach fuzz, like a little peach. It was cute. So I decided to forego shaving this morning and grow my own facial hair just to one-up you. So, I got you.
Yeah. Well, Lloyd shaved this morning too, but it looks like you have him beat too. It must be real cold where you come from.
Oh, it itches too.
It looks warm. Does it keep you warm in the winter months?
Oh yes, very much. It's my neck beard.
That's wonderful. Yeah, I don't even know what to say to that.
Yeah, so I'm here today since you wanted to step up the game with facial hair contest. Not only to show you up with the facial hair, but to give you my top 5 wish lists for facial hair in Disney Infinity, because I know how important it is to you.
It's very important.
Aye. So if we can, let's go ahead and get into it. I'm gonna get a drink of water because, like I said, it's a little hot in here.
Okay. Do you have to hold down your beard?
No, well, I don't want to get any of the water in the beard because, it doesn't taste as good the second time. So here we go. I'm going to go with number 5 here on our lovely countdown. I'm going to go with companion Disney Infinity pieces. So these are figures that feature Disney facial hair that go along with already existing characters. And I'm going to pull my mustache up because it's kind of falling. Okay, there you go.
Yep, looks good. Looks good.
All right, so we got Yensid, which, by the way, is Disney spelled backwards. He is the sorcerer in the Sorcerer Apprentice that Mickey is working for. I think he'd be a cool character. He'd have kind of the same functions as Sorcerer Mickey, but it'd be cool to have him in the game. And then the second companion piece would be Flynn Rider. He's rocking a cool goatee, but they can never get his nose right. So I would love to see how they do him in Disney Infinity. I think he'd be a good companion to his friend Rapunzel and his friend Maximus, who are both already in the game.
What do you mean they can never get his nose right?
Have you not seen the movie?
Yeah.
That's his running joke where
that's right.
Every wanted poster, fish my mustache again. Every wanted poster messes up his nose. So it'd be nice to see how Disney Infinity goes with that. So, which brings me to number 4 on my list, which is a little collection of my favorite theme park characters with facial hair. So I'm going to go with the Dream Finder, who is from an attraction at Epcot, and he is best friends with Figment. So I figured Dream Finder could rock his beard while carrying Figment around, who could maybe breathe fire, shoot rainbows at people, paint people, do whatever Figment likes to do. And he could also have maybe a power disc that has this little flying ship that goes around. I think that'd be cool. Also in the theme park theme with the beards, we got Gus, the hitchhiking ghost, who rocks a long beard like myself, but his is white. And he has this awesome, he's a little shorter guy, and he carries around a ball and chain, and he could kind of use that as a weapon and throw at people. I think that'd be very interesting. Also, the auctioneer from Pirates rocks a nice orange beard. He's always trying to sell the redhead and the redhead's friends. I think he'd be interested in having a game. It'd be a cool match to have him go up against Davy Jones or Captain Jack Sparrow. I think he'd be a nice companion to that. Number 3, I decided to do a collection of, and I don't know where this accent is coming. Maybe it's the beard that's giving me this accent, but I kind of like it. Number 3, we got a collection of magical figures, Disney characters that rock a beard. We got the genie from Aladdin, who I think would be fun. He could also fly if he wants to. Merlin, that elusive Toys R Us power disc that the U.S. doesn't seem to want to get. I think he would be pretty neat. He could pull a lot of things out of his magic bag if he wants. Jafar is a very fun villain. I think he would be great as well with his staff. He could just twirl his beard. It's kind of cool the way he does that. Number 2, I know the Beast has been named before as he is all facial hair. It's beautiful. I think the Beast would make a really cool figure. His special powers could be the roar, like everybody knows, the roar of Jack Skellington and the Monsters University people. I think it'd be easy to do. But he also has Mr. Incredible's powers, where he could have the super strength. So we got the super strength and the roar power, which I think would be quite nice with his rocking facial hair. My number 1 choice for facial hair of a Disney character, Walt Disney has a killer mustache, and I think he would be a fun character to add to the game to bring all this Disney majestic classicness into the game. What would be? I don't know. Walt Disney was pretty bad. A bad dude as far as he could probably fight people. He was in the army. He could go out in there and fight. But he's got his paintbrush. Maybe he could poke people with it. He's got his whole.
He could just stand there, and that's all that would be required.
He could just stand there by the castle. I mean, that's all he really has to do. And he'd just rock his suit he always wears, and then he can always call his pal Mickey or any of it, Goofy or Donald or any of his other posse to go help him. So I think Walt Disney would be a fun character to have in the game. And like I said, he's rocking his mustache. So that's my top 5. Does anybody have any other bearded Disney or mustache? Or Captain Hook has that nice handlebar mustache, but I've already said him a couple of times.
Yeah, he's one. My favorite is Beast because I like how you pointed out like he has facial hair. He's
facial
just hairy.
Yeah.
He's a hairy dude.
I mean, I made a couple, like King Triton, Zeus, the Sultan, 6 of the 7 Dwarves, Stromboli, Bowler Hat Guy, Shan Yu, Dr. Facilier, the Emperor of China, the Huntsman. I had no idea there was this many until I researched the show.
Did you find another Wikipedia article?
No, this is me Googling Disney facial hair, and you don't want to know the kind of things that popped up. Clopin, Governor Radcliffe, Monterey Jack, Geppetto, and Jane's father. So there you have it.
Wow, Pirate, that was amazing, my friend. Your top, however many lists are always great. People in the chat room really liked the Genie idea, Dreamfinder, and then obviously Mr. Walt Disney himself. People are saying Mike Wazowski with facial hair would be better, and then they're like, wouldn't that just be an eyebrow for Mike? like your eyebrow right now. I can't stop staring at anything other than the wonders of your beard. It's just.
Well, it's good for after I have lunch or dinner. I can just pick out the little breadcrumbs and just feed myself as a snack. Lloyd knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah, you make soup at the end of the day, is what they say.
Oh, gross. Lloyd, are you jealous? Are you jealous that what Pirate can achieve in one single day?
No. I mean, my mustache doesn't keep falling over my lip, so I don't know what kind of weird condition you have there, Pirate Steven, but at least mine's kind of stuck.
It's the Florida humidity.
Oh, that's what it is. Yeah, it's mine freezes to my face because it's so cold here. That's the difference.
But the great thing for you, Lloyd, if your beard was that long, you could just wrap it around your neck like it's a scarf.
It'd be a scarf, yeah. That would be good, actually. I'm gonna have to get on that. I'll get my ZZ top going and get one of those things and wrap it around my neck a couple times.
There you go. Mm-hmm. Pirate, that was amazing. You're freaking me out staring at me like that. I can't stop. Yeah. So thanks for that introduction to the show, Pirate, and thanks for making fun of my beard. It took you. We had one apology with Lloyd, and then we had an instantaneous dig right after. So thank you for that. We got to keep those coming. So for those that are listening to this audio podcast and not experiencing the wonders of Pirate's beard, make sure you check us out every Monday night at InsideDisneyInfinity.com. There you can watch us live and you can chat with us. We have some awesome people in the chat room. I think my favorite, though, is a person by the name of Free the Beard. You wouldn't know who that is, would you, Lloyd? Probably have no idea who that is.
No, I don't. I didn't change my name to that at all. So.
Well, as always, we want to thank everyone in the chat room who is watching us. And yeah, if you're listening to this, make sure you come join us sometime and regale in all the fun. You too can make fun of us and the members of the show. We look forward to that and we welcome it. So. Pirate's only going to be here for part of the show. His beard is in high demand, so he's going to have to take off at some point. So if he just all of a sudden disappears, you know that's the reason why. Yeah, you look evil. Oh, awesome. With that, shall we continue on with the show?
On with the show.
On with the show. Cool. It's a really light week this week, everyone, so we only have a few things to talk about. The first thing I want to talk about is something that it's not really news, but it's cool. Pirate actually brought this to my attention, as he does with most things Infinity Fans Forum. But a member of the Infinity Fans Forum, Jason's going to go ahead and bring it up on the screen share. He has made the Tower of Orthonk. I am probably mispronouncing that. The easy thing to say there is it's the Tower of from Lord of the Rings. So this thing is just freaking awesome. And Pirate Dev, it looks like Blue Punch Buggy is the person who made this tower. And if you can see there, it's a little blurry on Jason's screen, but it's really detailed. It leads up to the tower. There it goes. It cleared up right nice there. It's huge. In the forum, he said that it's massive and it eclipses Cinderella's castle in height. I would love to see Cinderella's castle sitting next to it to give it a sense of scale, but that is just awesome. Pirate, do you have anything you want to say about that?
Yeah, I think he did a marvelous job of recreating a cinematic moment from something that's not Disney. He did a great job, and it's another reason why I wish we were able to share toy boxes with one another without where you can download somebody's toy box and save it. Because I'm sure a lot of people would love to playing around in a toy box.
Yeah, yeah. It's Lotro is up there with Disney as far as fanaticism, so I'm sure there's lots of people that would love to see this. So cool. Yeah, I just wanted to show that off. Thought that was cool. Pirate, thanks for bringing that to our attention.
You're welcome.
Next up, we talked a little bit about it last week. Lloyd's sitting there laughing at me. He can laugh at me silently, which is making fun of instead of having to do it aloud. Travis was on the show with us last week, and he talked to us about Toy Fair and his experiences with that. One thing we didn't really have a chance to really have the time for was just giving a recap of the Series 3 discs. So Series 3 discs were shown at Toy Fair last week, and if you were there, you could actually take a look at this. And although a lot of people already know what these discs are, I just thought I would give a little bit of a recap for those that haven't or have forgotten.
Uh-oh. Will must have smacked his mic stand again.
He'll be back. He'll be back, people. Don't.
Or Wally's fire extinguisher, which is the rare one. That's the only one that's lenticular and people can feel through the package, which is kind of ridiculous. We have the Toy Story Mania Blaster from Toy Story Mania, the game on the Wii and other places, which is kind of neat. And then the Dragon Firework Cannon, which I know a lot of people are excited for. What would be Disney Infinity without horses, which is Tantor, Felipe, Angus, and then Calico Helicopter, and Cruella DeVille's car. And then we have the customization power discs, which are the Wally collection, so both the Sky Disc and Texture, and which is called the By and Large Atmosphere, I guess is what the Sky Disc is called. And then there's the Disney's Parks Parking Lot Tram, which is here as a rare, but apparently it isn't a rare according to the website. But maybe that changed since the website went live and the actual release happened. I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think there's going to be two rares or just one, like the Disney Infinity site shows?
Correct me if I'm wrong, Jason, but I think Travis last week said that originally we thought the parking lot train was going to be rare, but I think he confirmed that it no longer is, which makes sense, especially given the fact that the picture itself was clear. So I'm thinking Wally's extinguisher was the rare disc.
Yeah.
So.
And
I'm excited for it. That's what I'm looking forward to the most. The tram.
And as Infinite Mickey in the chat room says, just after I said it, Tantor is not a horse.
What is it?
An elephant. I wanted to smack my face and say, "Dope." I'm going to get some comments about that. Sure enough.
I'm surprised you didn't have the horse music cued for you. Sound.
The horse music. There we go. Awesome.
Nice. I'm surprised, Jason, you're not looking forward to the horses the most.
No, I want that tram.
Yeah.
What can I say?
You're just a sucker for anything Disney Disney park related.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I like the Midway Mania blasters. I think that's going to be a good time. I would have expected that one, being a park piece as well, to have been a rare one.
Mm-hmm. Papa Echo in the chat room is saying that apparently when you have the tram down and other people join the game, you get additional cars that spawn behind the first car. That would be
kidding.
That would be really, really cool.
That's awesome. Cool. Good job. gentlemen.
So,
Thank you
what
for
was
that.
the release date on those? Do we know? Again?
April 1st, I think. I think it comes out the same time as Phineas and Ferb. Pirate,
Cool.
do you know?
I think it's either April 1st or April 9th. I thought I saw April 9th on a couple of places you could pre-order it, but it could be the 1st. You know how dates change every now and then.
Yeah.
And there's been
Dates-
no word of one of the Masterful packs yet, is right? With the one where we get all the power discs with the album?
No, I
No word.
wish.
Yeah, and on all honesty, I doubt we're getting it this time around. I
Sadness.
don't know. Yeah.
Sadness.
There's way
If
too
it
many
does
cool
come
ones.
around, I highly recommend that people order it right away.
Yeah. Otherwise, it will be almost impossible to find. Yeah, I don't know. There's some cool disc in this one I'm really excited about. I'm kind of glad they left some fun ones for the last series. I'm really excited about the Wall-E stuff, and then like you, Pirate, I'm really excited about the Toy Story Mania Blaster. That should be cool.
DisneyStore.com has a release date of April 1st for the Power Disc Series 3 packs.
Okay.
So that seems reliable.
Cool. I like Mickey's sorcerer hat too. I'm not a fan of these power-up discs, but if you watch the video on this Forbes article, make sure you check the show notes for that. It actually shows you what the disc looks like, and it's really cool because it's Mickey's apprentice hat.
Have we done an update on the Power Disc Alchemy lately? Has there been any cool alchemy stuff with the new Power Discs? I don't have them, so I can't inform anyone of that.
Chat
I'll
room,
just be-
this is your time to shine.
I'd just be
messed around
interested to
a little
know.
bit. I messed around with a little bit when Series 2 came out, and it seems like there was more discs that would give you an alchemy reaction, but they were kind of the same one that happened with the Series 1. There were just more combinations, pretty much. I didn't find anything new. There might be one or two, but I just in messing around, I didn't find anything.
I think we should put that on our to-do discuss list. I think that'd be a cool thing to talk about, coming up with some cool ideas from some more impressive alchemy.
Yeah, somewhere on the forums is a list of all of the alchemy for Series 1 and 2, like the complete list. So we can go through that and see what we can come up with that we think would be cooler
That's cool. Let's put that on the
than
to-do.
what's available.
Cool. Well, we'll put that in the notes to have a future show on. I feel like I cut someone off like 3 times there, so speak now or forever hold your peace. We are moving on.
No, move on. Let's move on to the highlight of the toy boxes this week.
Cool. So if you want to find out our thoughts, more specifically Jason's thoughts on the toy boxes this week, then make sure you check out youtube.com/Disney Infinity TV for his review where he reviews every single one of those toy boxes. So yeah, with that being said, one thing I did want to mention this week is that there were a few familiar names, but it seemed like they got some fresh new toy box artists this week, and we got some new people that have won this week. So congrats to everyone who had won. But Jason, with that, do you want to go ahead and highlight your favorite?
Yeah, I just think I wanted to highlight the Light Cycle grid, the Tron level. I thought it was an amazing toy box that I can't believe no one had done prior. I can't believe there wasn't, or maybe there was. No, there wasn't a similar type thing in the official Disney Tron toy box, and it's arguably probably the most iconic scene of the film. So I just think it was an amazing recreation of a Light Cycle battle arena, and out of all of them, that was the one I thought this would be really cool with 4 people, fanging around in. I hope you know what fanging means. fanging around in a light cycle and shooting each other. I think that looked a lot of fun.
Yeah, I thought it was really cool one too. I'm not gonna say anything. I agree with you, Jason. It was so iconic from the film. It looked very much like it. And I was like, oh, this is so cool. It's straight out of the film, and they even used some assets that weren't specific to Tron to even add to the theming of it, which is cool.
Yeah, and a runners-up prize I gave to the Western one. I can't remember what it was called, but the one that was like a big cowboy type battle arena. That was really really cool too. But full props to the Tron and Warlord Raven. I don't think I recognise that name, so I'm assuming that was the first time win for that. And yet another toy box artist is born that is more talented than me.
Pirate, you always have some insight. Do you have any insider info from the forums this week, or?
We had two forum members this week. Finn Warrior did the Wreck-It Ralph one, which was very nice. Finn is from Finland, which makes sense. And the first place winner is a new member of our forum as well. So yeah, he was a first time submitter and he got first place. So that's pretty exciting.
That's
for him.
awesome.
He said he's got a good idea for the arcade one, so we might see him again.
Cool. That was a paintball challenge, right?
Yes.
Nice. And Jason, the Wild West was called High Noon Duel, and it was by Vasuri83. So that's the other one. That was your honorable mention.
Yeah, honorable mention. For the rest of it, check out the video, including the evil koala and my thoughts on such.
That was hilarious. Did you? Why don't you give us a little bit of info, because you at the end of the show you replayed one of last week's toy boxes. You want to explain that a little bit?
Oh yes, first time ever I went back and played a toy box because our good friend X Shadow informed me that he actually created 2 sections of his toy box last week, and that was the carnival one. I can't remember specifically what its name was, but it was on the Valentine's week, and he created 2 sections specifically for me, and I missed them embarrassingly on the day that I reviewed it. So I went back and played those and found a ton of stuff that I missed my first time through the review, and that definitely skyrocketed that toy box to the top. So there's the hot tip. Flattery will get you everywhere. I want tributes to the Inside Infinity team in every toy box from now on. Otherwise, it doesn't get a mention. But thank you, X Shadow. It was such an awesome toy box, one that will remain there until my PS3 dies.
The first listener who does an 8-bit version of Jason gets a family-sized jar of Vegemite that I will personally send you to your house as a prize.
It's got to win, though. It's got to be in the top 5.
No, it doesn't. It just has to be an 8-bit version of you.
At least you don't have to worry about hair physics. Just
yeah, they have that dome piece that would work well.
It's all turning south. Let's move on to the mailbag.
Cool.
So next week is the Aladdin challenge, which I'm looking forward to. I feel like just from the buzz on the forums that this was a popular submitted one. So just like Tangled and the Frozen challenge and the Parks challenge, I feel like there's a lot of submissions done for this one. So we should be getting some high quality toy boxes again.
Yeah, this is exciting. I'm stoked to see that they're reaching back into the classics a little bit to come up with this challenge. And there's so many different toy box assets that are kind of Aladdin themed. This is, I'm sure, going to be another jaw-dropping challenge. Cool. Pirate, feel free to stick around, my friend. We're doing good on time today, but that is it for the toy box. So just wanted to, before we move on to DI2 stuff. So, yeah, let's move on. I wanted to mention something, reaching into the mailbag again this week. So we keep getting a lot of questions, and I don't blame people, but I wanted to just say something on the show so you can at least be a little more informed. People keep asking us when we're going to have the Marvel and the Star Wars show. Well, the Star Wars show we're still waiting to talk about that, and we'll as soon as we know when we're going to discuss that, we are going to let everyone know. But the Marvel show, we will be doing the week of Comic-Con. We figure it's it's thematic for that week, and we want to kind of participate in the excitement of Comic-Con. So that's when we are doing the Marvel show, and Star Wars will be sometime after that. If you would like to give us your own Marvel or Star Wars ideas, just go ahead and start sending them in. You can send that into info@InsideDisneyInfinity.com, and we'll be sure to mention on that show. I know there's lots of people out there that are very excited about potential Marvel and Star Wars stuff. So, Cool. All right, with that, let's go ahead and continue our series. Jason, you just want to go ahead and introduce our topic of the week?
Yep, sure. So this week, as we said last week, we're going to be discussing Disney Infinity characters and the potential of adding possibly some RPG elements in any form, but specifically maybe in the form of skill trees, which we'll explain more detail if you don't know what a skill tree is when we get into it. But before we do, it looks like we had a little bit of mailbag news about someone else's idea for a potential DI2 topic, by the looks of it, Will?
Yeah, so Scott wrote in, and he was asking about hybrid playsets, and I think this is perfect, kind of on the tail end of our discussion of last week. So I guess I should have prefaced this section with, so this is all DI2 stuff, and DI2, the conversation is going to be both things that we hope to see and kind of expect to see in the sequel, and then things that are just kind of out there, and things that may not happen, but we would still love to see at some point. So, and I think I would put this in kind of that in-between category. So Scott wrote in, and he was asking about hybrid playsets. He said he was just he's hoping for a hybrid playset, and he said, let me explain. He said he loves stand-up characters, but wished there was a playset with stand-up characters and vehicles. So I think what he's saying there is humanoid figures and then vehicles, kind of like cars. So he would like to see both. He loves the idea of playing with two people, one person firing weapons and the other person driving the car as they are riding in it. The franchise that he says immediately comes to mind is Who Framed Roger Rabbit. One person could, one of the stand-up characters could be Roger or Jessica or Baby Herman, and the car characters could be Benny the Cab, the cop car, and the dip machine. So he would like to see that and Disney Infinity 2. And I don't know about you guys, I think this is a really interesting idea. So right now, characters can ride on the cars. Characters, and one person can be driving them around while the other person is sitting on top. It would be interesting. I'd never really thought about actually including that in a play set. Do you guys have any thoughts or ideas on that? Because I think it's kind of a neat idea. I don't know how you keep it consistent. You'd have to have some AI in there if you're playing solo, but I don't know. I just think it's kind of a fun idea.
I think it's a better way for co-op. I think I like that idea the most. I like the idea of like, what was it? Was it Double Dash, Mario Kart Double Dash, that you could have two people on the same go-kart?
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's cool concept of that, sharing that, having one person driving while the other one's throwing whatever.
Yeah, that's my only concern is the AI would have to be pretty decent. It's similar to like if you're playing Halo, for example, you'll be driving around or running around, you come to a Warthog, which is just a big Jeep-looking thing with guns. You jump into the driver's seat, and then immediately one of the other grunts that's around jumps into one of the gunner positions and starts taking pot shots at creatures. It would be similar. Obviously, with less army artillery, but you might have a ship that drives around with a cannon or something, and one of the little townspeople could jump up there and man the cannons when you're playing single player. Something like that would be pretty darn cool to see in the game.
And Roger Rabbit is a great idea, but I'm sure we could come up with a lot of other. That would have been a cool thing for a Lone Ranger playset, at least a section. I mean, we have the trains, but shooting off of a stagecoach or something, that would be kind of cool.
I have to say, I love the Roger Rabbit idea, and you had me at Jessica Rabbit and Benny the Cab. I think that'd be sweet. But I originally thought you were going to say Indiana Jones when you were talking about cars. I thought of like the little mine car going by, and or a Jeep, and having somebody on the back of it trying to get the enemies.
Yeah, that would be cool. You could even have kind of a plane section with Indiana Jones as well. Cool. Well, awesome. That was a great idea. Scott, thanks for writing in about that and giving us some more Disney Infinity 2 stuff. So as Jason alluded to, this week's conversation is going to be kind of about character progression and different ways of doing that. So the only person in the group, Pirate, I'm pretty sure you don't because I think you yelled at me once on a show, but the only person in the group that plays Skylanders, I think, is Lloyd. And Lloyd, correct me if I'm wrong, but there's a certain amount of skills progression leveling up in Skylanders, right?
Yeah, each of the figures themselves. So you'll grab, depending on which figure. There's usually 7 skills that you can unlock. There'll be sometimes more, sometimes less, but the average would be 3 skills that you unlock. Once you unlock those 3 skills, it unlocks a tree with 2 branching paths. For example, like Cinder here. When you get her up to the 3 main skills unlocked or the 4 skills unlocked, you can choose either Nether Wielder or Shadow Dancer. And you have to choose one, and then you could choose other skills that are in that one. So, for example, with Cinder, Nether Wielder allows you to upgrade your kind of ghosts and lightning, or sorry, your fireballs and lightning, where Shadow Dancer allows you to upgrade all your ghosts and things like that. Which is really kind of cool because you can really make your figure yours, and that's what my kids really love about it. Like, we have some doubles of figures because of special editions, and my daughter might want a figure one way and my son wants it the other way, so they can do that. The cool thing about Skylanders that unfortunately Disney Infinity doesn't do is when you upgrade the figure, all of your experience, all of your upgrades, and everything, the accessories, the hats you're wearing, gets stored back on the figure. Where Disney Infinity doesn't do that. If you take a friend's figure and you put it on your base, it's level 1 again, even though he might have been level 14 on your friend's game. So that would have to be a major change to the architecture in Disney Infinity 2, and they'd have to retroactively start writing some of that stuff back to the DI1 figures if they wanted to have a system like this to really make it useful. Otherwise, you would you take it over to your friend's house and then it would still be level 1. So any sort of fun battle-y type things that you can do with your extra powers would just be non-existent because it's not on your figure.
Gotcha.
Can you reset your points on the Skylanders? Like, if you went down one path, can you reset it and go the other direction?
Yeah, you can't just reset the path that you took. You basically have to fully reset your figure. So you basically set your figure down to level 0, and you can go another path. There is one difference with that. When you have one of the newer games and you have older figures, you can sometimes choose one or the other. I'm not sure what the distinction is, because some of my figures I can go back in and choose the other path if I want to. But then most of my other figures, like my newer ones, the only thing I can do is basically hit the big old reset button, which wipes all my experience, all my gold, and everything like that off the figure. I guess it's a good way to keep you from gaming going back and forth, but it would be kind of nice if you could unlock all the skills and then just have like a little toggle so you can switch from one to the other.
So MMOs, that's a common practice for that, and it usually comes with the cost. But when it's called respecking, and when you respec, you still have all the points to unlock stuff. So you don't lose all your progression. Essentially, it just comes at a cost. So that would be kind of neat. I mean, maybe a way of doing that for Disney Infinity is using some spins, and instead of unlocking new characters, you could use that to respec.
That would definitely be a good thing, because you have all these extra spins anyway. You might as well use them.
That's right. And it kind of makes sense just because of the type of game Disney Infinity is. If you're playing different games, you might want to respec your figure to be more a defensive figure, or you might want to respec it to be more of an, offensive figure or whatever. So that kind of makes sense.
Yeah, the only thing is you wouldn't want to make it too easy, because then those decisions lose weight. So there has to be some sort of consequence. But I agree with you both. It would be great, because then it would even provide value for playsets. Is going back through spec a different way with different powers. It would be a new experience in a lot of ways.
Yeah. And it would give a little bit more weight to, like, we play a lot of Skylanders at my house because my kids love playing the battle mode. So there'll be different arenas. They basically have a set number of lives. They have a life bar, and it's kind of like playing a battle mode in a first-person shooter, or like Super Smash Brothers, if you played any of those games, where they have to do damage, run away, get healing power-ups, get special weapons, come back, and they really love having their own figures that have been upgraded the way that they like, because they might have a figure that has this really great ground pound, so they run up to the character, ground pound, stun them, do a bunch of damage, and then escape back to get the power-ups. I would love to see a mode more like that in Disney Infinity. I mean, of course, I've built many battle arenas for the kids to just fire paintballs at each other, or exploding pumpkin bombs or whatever. But it would be really cool to have kind of like a battle arena mode in Disney Infinity, which you wouldn't have to be like, you don't have to look at it as kind of like deaths and lives and things. They could put a Disney spin on it, but having kind of a controlled mode that is a little bit better than just creating a level and adding like a score counter or something yourself would be a lot of fun. And the character customizations then would play a bigger role for that, because I could see my kids latching onto their favorite Disney Infinity character, upgraded the way that they wanted, and then they would just jump into the battle arena and spend like 12 hours if I let them. They're monsters when it comes to playing battle arena. They just love it on Skylanders, where Disney Infinity's kind of gotten a little bit less of a play in the rotation, just because they love playing in that mode so much.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's a fundamental difference between the two. Is the reason, I think one of the big reasons Skylanders has this progression system is because every adventure, and correct me if I'm wrong, Lloyd, but every adventure is playable with every figure. So there's...
Yeah. And there's levels. Like, there's 15 levels in the game, and the bosses are bigger and badder as you get further in the game. So if you buy a new figure and you put it into on the base and you try to beat the last boss, you're gonna have a heck of a difficult time. But if you go back and level up and get up to level 10 or 15 or 20, you'll be a little bit better prepared to then take on the boss. So there is some meaning to the levels that you're doing in the game. It's not just to unlock a gold statue in some big coliseum. It actually makes the game easier, and it makes you feel better. It's like an RPG. You feel like you've put the time in and made this little toy more powerful than it was when you popped it out of its bubble wrap.
So working with this idea of leveling up and becoming more powerful with the way Disney Infinity works, because again it's different, how could we kind of squeeze the two and make a hybrid system? I mean, the thought that comes to my mind is this is one more additional benefit to going back through and playing a playset. But I guess leveling up, if the difficulty ramped up, or if you could just go back and set difficulty for the playsets, and then you could go back through and play them with your leveled up characters. I mean, it's different because I can't put Sully on my pirate playset and level him up, because it's not as free and open as it is on Skylanders. So,
yeah.
Any thoughts or ideas on how we could kind of combine the two and make it work, short of just giving new abilities? My initial thought is, and they kind of do it, Pirates actually is a good example of this, there's gates and stuff you can't open until you find the blunderbuss, the more powerful blunderbuss later in the game, and then you can go back, or the throwing bomb as an example.
Mm-hmm.
But those are more tools and less power-ups. So I mean, that's one incentive, and it's kind of a mandatory one, but it's like, okay, this door is going to be locked until you unlock this skill 3 hours into the game.
I always thought I would be able to level up Lightning McQueen and unlock Dynaco Blue Lightning McQueen, or other skins, because I think there's probably like 10 or 15 different versions of Lightning McQueen, at least in the die-cast cars. So I thought it'd be cool to have some kind of variation in your Lightning McQueen car or your Mater car, etc. That didn't happen.
Well, and that's a... Go ahead, Lloyd.
No, I was going to say one big change that they'd have to do to really make the upgrades something that are meaningful is you'd have to have a life stat, you'd have to have a power stat, you'd have to have a speed stat, so that when you level up your character, just from the controlling of the character would change. So Lightning McQueen would get a little bit faster. So if you're a level 1 race car and you're racing against a level 10 race car, the level 10 race car would be able to go a little bit faster. I mean, personally, I would love that. My problem with that is that you would have kids that would have their favorite car that hasn't leveled up very much, and now they can't beat their siblings. Where, as it is right now, everybody's on kind of a level playing field.
Yeah. But there's kind of a rubber banding built into racing as it is. I mean, if you're getting just mop the floor, then the competition slows down a little bit. So.
Yeah. I like the unlockable skills idea. Maybe each character has 3 skills that unlock. One at level 1, just immediately give some reinforcement that boom, you did good. One at level 5 and one at level 10. So you can really so you're not just like sitting and spinning on fans to get the gold trophy and then never touching that character again, right? There's some leveling up and some power that will come to you just from using your character and having some fun with it. So I could see something like that would be a lot of fun to use and play with.
Well, and one thing we're not really talking about, and this goes back to what you're saying, Pirate, because I love the idea of leveling up as a way of getting variant costumes. Because one thing that Skylanders doesn't do, but Disney Infinity does, is you can kind of look at Power Disc as these skills and leveling up stuff that it's similar to the skills that are unlocked in Skylanders. It's like there's health boost, there's money boost, there's experience boost. There's different weapons. Some are more powerful than other, and that's kind of that is not an ecosystem, but that is a method of. I don't think that's going away, and so whatever the skill system is it's going to have to work around that, and so. I mean, you can't level up and get more health because that defeats the purpose of a disc, right?
Yeah.
So, but your current existing skills or your current weapon, you can't even make your weapons more powerful because there's a disc for that too. So I think that's where it gets sticky, and that's where, going back to Pirate's idea of variance, where it's just simply a cosmetic change, but it's really cool nonetheless. It is some sort of incentive to level up.
That would be really good, because then all of the original figures that shipped with Disney Infinity could then level up without any problems. They just have to give Mr. Incredible a different color set of tights, and Mike Wazowski can get his unibrow mustache that you were talking about, Will, and that would be a great thing to add. But then they'd have to find some way to put those unlocks on the character, or the level somehow written back to the character. So it depends on the engineering of the toys in the first place. Hopefully they thought forward enough that, hey, if we have a set game that we're making now because we have a very, very narrow scope, but let's design these toys with the future in mind. Hopefully they were designed that way. That would be really great.
Well, and they're going to have to patch in new characters into the old game, so patching is a possibility. I mean, it's not only a possibility, but it's mandatory. So that could be when that happens. I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if there is some sort of additional leveling up, because the leveling up for Disney Infinity 1 was unlocking these gold statues, and they may be like, that was the concept back then. That was our design decision. So that's what we're sticking with. And moving forward, maybe they do variants, and the only difference is you get that gold statue for the DI1 stuff.
And the weird thing is, you didn't even need to get to the top rank to unlock the gold statue. Is that right? I think level 10 you got the gold statue, didn't you?
Yep.
What's the point of going to 15?
Just extra stars, I guess. Extra spin, maybe. I don't know.
It's really strange. I wouldn't be too surprised if they'd prior thought of adding in something more, because that doesn't make a lot of sense to me at all. Why wouldn't you make the top rank the thing that unlocks something. You know what I mean? It just seems strange to have go 5 above what you actually need. So I reckon there's probably a deeper story to that we're not privy to.
I think it's what Lloyd said. I mean, they have stated they wanted to make it so you didn't have to have every playset to unlock all the toys in the game. And I see what you're saying though, Jason. I don't know how they would do that, because then level 1 through 7 you would be bronze, level 7 through 14 you would be silver, and then I guess that would work actually. Yeah, why not? That makes sense actually.
Just find that
The sword and the stone.
find that strange.
It's Time Chicken is saying the sword and the stone. That's what you get when you cap out your levels.
Right.
Ah, that's right. Yes, you can pull the sword. That's right.
Yeah.
So true. So true.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, the point is it definitely needs something else there to make the characters more interesting. And I wouldn't be too surprised. Like, in my mind, as a programmer, I don't see an issue with writing the stuff back to the toy as long as whatever platform in has got an individual sign-in situation. I know the PS4 can have, I believe it's up to 4 or 5 people signed in at the same time. So as long as the platform, all the platforms on, you can sign in, they can tie all those upgrades just to your account based on what characters you own. It doesn't necessarily have to go back to the actual figure itself. It just requires that whatever platform you're playing on, that you have the ability to sign in to your Infinity account. So that's a possibility
that would be
too.
Change to the game as well, where they would force you to have online capability. Like your console has to be online all the time, which they don't need that right now. So that would be a big change for them as well. But yeah, that would definitely be one potential way around it if the toys themselves are really limited.
Kind of forces their hand, doesn't it? Because they'd have to if that's not the case, if they want to do that, they would have to re-release Series 1 figures with updated technology if it doesn't currently exist.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which I can't imagine they're too... Although, I mean, it's only really a matter of swapping out a chip, I guess, at the end of the day.
Yeah, it's making a couple bytes of the RFID tag writable instead of locking it as read-only. Not crazy, but yeah, it is definitely more engineering they'd have to do to get these toys updated.
Definitely.
I don't know. I think I just really like this idea because we're constantly saying how we need more incentive for value with these figures. I think The Incredibles did a great job of having varied abilities, but that was pretty much the only one really that was like that. Everyone else was the same. And so to have characters that can unlock different unique skills, I think would just make the figures more valuable, and it would make you want to buy more. I'm sure that's inspired. Well, you brought up an interesting fact, Lloyd, is that it's made you and your family want to buy duplicates simply because you can have their different characters at that point if they're spec'd differently, and that's interesting. I mean that and why wouldn't they want to sell duplicates even?
Yeah, exactly, and that's what Skylanders does really good is there's different variants. So you might have this guy, then you have a legendary version of this guy, and then you have the one where he has an even bigger flaming sword. And as much as I hate that, because I'm a parent that's asked to buy these toys, where it's like, but you already have him. Yeah, but his sword looks cooler. It's like, yeah, it looks cooler. All right, let's go buy it. As much as I hate that, it's also a really good thing, and it allows the kids to really kind of ratchet and zone in on exactly what they want out of this game. Like, my daughter loves the quick, agile-looking figures, and she loves the female figures because they're usually quick and agile. Where Nick likes the big, bulking, hulking bruiser characters because that's his playstyle is just like smack things into a pulp with his fists type thing in the game. He's not a ranged weapon user, so he can look at the figures, he can see a paint style or an accessory on that one that he really likes, and then that's his figure, and he upgrades it how he wants, and they just love doing that. That would be a great thing for Disney Infinity, like going back to last week when you guys were talking about different costumes. So you get the Christmas version of a figure that has a Santa hat on, and or you have a different color figure, and maybe have different upgrades or the ability to have different upgrades than your normal one. not everybody would be buying those figures, but the people that want to have multiple different versions, because some people got really crazy with Skylanders. If you read some of the forums where they had like doubles of every figure, so they could have every skill at any point, and that was a little crazy for me. But it would be kind of cool to have more figure options if you did want to go that way.
Mm-hmm. Magic Monkey in the chat room is saying that we could tie those abilities and unlocks to the DI account and then just log in wherever you're at, and it's just actually associated to your account, not necessarily the figures. I don't know if that would work too as a compromise to the RFID stuff.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I also like the idea of, like what Lloyd said, I like the idea of every character having a Christmas variant, and automatically everyone gets the snowball firing action.
That'd be awesome.
With it. That'd be pretty cool.
I completely second that. Or I third that. Cool. That was awesome, guys. Do you have any last minute things before we move on past this topic? I think that was some good discussion, and it's interesting. It's the nature of the beast, but Skylanders and Disney Infinity are the two that are most similar. They're the two in this collectible toy space, but there are some very, very specific differences between the two, which are both good and bad for both, I think.
And the best thing is having two games that are so similar in their idea, but yet so different when you play them, is having competition has forced innovation. Like the Skylanders SWAT Force, you have these figures that can snap apart, and you can put different figures together, which is a lot of fun for the kids because you can upgrade the top and the bottom. Toys with Bob is doing the next Skylanders game, and they're saying that there's going to be even more innovation, and they're not ready to talk about it because it's going to blow everybody's mind. So I hope Disney's taken the same the same road to releasing Disney Infinity 2 and 3 and 4, where it's not just come up with new figures, new play sets, boom, but really kind of innovating what each of these figures and play sets does, because that's just going to make this whole kind of subgenre of video gaming kind of grow. The collectible toy play set things, I don't even know what you would call these things anymore. Used to call them just the Skylanders, but now there's multiple players, right? And Nintendo's starting to get interested in this with the Pokemon stuff, where with the Wii U gamepad, there's a little NFC reader, and you can put these little mini Pokemon things on there, which then unlock stuff in the game. There's word that Nintendo's going to be coming out with a full-blown game using that technology. So having all these competitors in the market is just going to make for a lot of innovation really quickly as these annual installment type games come out.
Yeah, that competition's always good. Pushing
I want to just say, as a parent, I like the idea of this because I like the idea of being able to buy my child one figure and let them get as much use out of that figure before I have to go out and buy another one. I think that makes a lot more sense rather than just, because they're getting all the powers right off the get-go, so it's like I'm bored with that figure, where's my, I want another one. I like the idea of them being able to spend more time with each of the different figures before I have to go out and buy a new one, because again, not everyone out there is a Disney fanatic that's going to just instantly just want to buy them all anyways. I'm sure there's many a parent out there that only wants to buy the starter set and maybe one of their favorite characters. And I think the more time they can get out of that one character, the more the parent appreciates the product for not trying to milk them of all their money, I guess.
Yeah. And the more apt you will be to buy new ones too. You'll feel less jaded.
So anyway, next week's topic, we're going to talk about play sets, not play sets as they are, but what we would do with play sets if they were the traditional sense, as we discussed, was it last week, like the Castle Grayskull for He-Man. What would we do with a play set if you got the Haunted Mansion, for instance, or any other major set piece like Ariel's Underwater Castle or whatever? How would we work with those sorts of things if you're buying them as actual feature sets, and how would they interact, and how would we introduce those sorts of things into the world of Disney Infinity 2? So that's next week. If you've got any ideas or thoughts on that, just email them through, Twitter them through, whatever you can do, get them through to us so we can mention them next week.
Awesome. Cool, cool. Well, with that, gentlemen, I think we are record show. We are done, and we literally are sitting at an hour. We are 2 minutes shy of an hour right now, but I'm sure we're going to get there. So, sorry for those hoping that we were going to have another Vegemite off at the end and pad the show with an extra 10, 15 minutes. That's not this week, but it will be happening again relatively soon. Travis is...
This is my favorite show, and I'm super jazzed and pumped about it every single time we record. So urge you all to go check out dres at vgpodcasts.com and hear us talk about all games. We've been talking about Xbox One and PlayStation 4. We talk about a lot of different games, systems, games, developers, etc., and it is a really fun show to do. So check
homework as they are listening to this show. So hopefully we could provide some inspiration. What was that, look?
I think they were scared of Pirate's beard, actually. they just wanted to be quiet because they were worried he was going to yell at them or something.
I couldn't blame him. I just couldn't stop staring. I was like, it was hypnotizing me, the epicness. Cool, cool. Well, if you want to chat with us and talk about Pirate's Beard, make sure you do that. You can check out the show Every Infinity on Twitter. If you want to subscribe to the audio version, you can do that on iTunes or Stitcher Radio, which is device agnostic, so you can get us on your Android, Windows Phone, or your iPhone on Stitcher Radio. For video versions of the show, check out youtube.com/Disney Infinity TV. That is also where you can find Jason's weekly Toy Box Rundown. I'm going to wrap it up, guys. Thank you both again. It was a lot of fun as always. And to everyone listening, watching, we hope you have a very infinite week filled with infinite possibilities. Cool, cool. I'm going to go ahead and stop the broadcast this week. Sorry, no after show because of that little technical glitch. I need to get this stopped as soon as possible so I can pull the audio. So thanks everyone who's watching in the chat room and watching live. We will see you next week.